There have been some rumblings over the past few days that Texas Athletics Director Chris Del Conte may be leaving Austin to join his former boss, Jay Hartzell, at SMU. On today's edition of the BK Show, I'm here to tell you that Texas fans have nothing to worry about. What's up, guys and gals? Welcome in to another edition of the BK Show. This is your one-stop shop for Texas Longhorns content on YouTube. I'm your host, BK Brad Kellner. Please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. So over the weekend, SMU Athletic Director Rick Hart announced that he is stepping down from his position at the end of this academic year. And people started connecting some dots and started trying to draw conclusions. And I think some fear arose around Longhorn Nation. We saw a couple of articles go out in the DFW Metroplex speculating on who could be Rick Hart's replacement. And one of the names that was mentioned, Texas AD Chris Del Conte. I think Texas fans started to get nervous. Could CDC follow Jay Hartzell's footsteps and move to Dallas? Does SMU have enough cash to money whip CDC into coming? Does CDC value his relationship with President Hartzell enough to leave the Longhorns to go work with him again? Reasonable thoughts, I suppose. SMU has a ton of money. They've been investing a lot into sports lately. And we know Chris Del Conte loves Jay Hartzell. They've had a great relationship here in Austin. So reasonable to think that maybe something could be a brew. But I said it once, I'll say it again. Texas fans have nothing to worry about. And here's why. Number one, we could really start and end this video right here. CDC himself tweeted out that he's staying. Now, there have been plenty of instances in sports history where somebody, a player, a coach, an executive, a concession stand worker, whatever, says or tweets that they're not going anywhere, and then they go somewhere. But I do trust CDC on this one. And he said the rumors about him leaving for SMU are 1,000% false. That's a lot of percent. So, hey, if that's enough for you, there you go. That's the video right there. You can just take CDC at his word or at his tweet and believe that he's sticking around Austin. But there's more. There's so many reasons why it would make zero sense for Chris Del Conte to leave Texas for SMU. Number one, Texas is a better job than SMU. It just is. You can look at history in sports. Texas has 66 national championships across all sports. SMU has 8. You can look at the now, where these two athletic departments are right now. Here are the teams that are currently ranked in the top 25 at the University of Texas. And this is current rankings or the finishing rankings for sports that concluded in the fall. Football, volleyball, women's basketball, baseball, softball, men's tennis, men's golf, men's swimming and diving, women's swimming and diving, men's track and field, women's soccer, probably a few more that I'm missing, but you'll get the point. Texas has arguably the best athletic department in all of college sports right now. Oh, by the way, Texas has won the Directors' Cup in 3 of the last 4 years, which is an award given out to the best athletic department in college sports. Texas didn't win it in any of the 25 years before this last 4-year stretch. They've won it 3 of the last 4 years. So, historically speaking, currently speaking, Texas more athletic success than SMU. And by the way, Texas is in the SEC. CDC kind of spearheaded that move as well. SMU, yes, they just took a leap to a bigger conference, but they're in the ACC, the All Cupcake Conference, the AS Conference, whatever you want to call it. More money goes into being an SEC school. More prestige goes into being a member of the Southeastern Conference. You don't want to leave the SEC for the ACC. You've got ACC teams doing whatever they can to try to get in the SEC right now. So, yeah, it's a better job. Also, the money coming into the department right now is crazy. Saw a recent study from CNBC. CNBC. I don't know why I said that so weird. I'm bad. Texas has the second most valuable athletic department in the country. SMU came in at number 65 on that same ranking. So, Texas bringing in more money right now. It's more valuable right now. The opportunities at Texas are stronger and bigger than they are at SMU. And speaking of bigger, Texas has bigger and better stadiums. They've got a bigger and better fan base. They've got a bigger and better everything. It's just a better job right now than SMU. So that's number one on why it'd be silly for CDC to leave Austin for Dallas. Number two, look, Chris Del Conte has done too much at Texas to leave. He's been here for 8 years now. And remember what he walked into following the disastrous tenure of Steve Patterson, where that guy damn near single-handedly destroyed the entire athletics department in less than 2 years on the job, CDC walked into a relatively tough situation, having to clean up a lot of Patterson's messes. And, well, here's just some of what he's done so far. He's overseen more than $750 million in renovations to athletics facilities that were way behind. It was crazy to think about, but it's the truth. Texas, in terms of facilities, despite bringing in a lot of money and despite having some success, they were way behind. I mean, decades behind their competition. We weren't the Joneses anymore. We weren't even keeping up with the Joneses the way things were going. The renovations have touched every single sport that Texas has. And oh, by the way, the new UT Athletics Hall of Fame at the north end of DKR, that was done in large part thanks to Chris Del Conte. Also, you look at the football game day atmosphere from Bevo Boulevard and Smokies Midway to Longhorn city limits before the game, and the LED lights and the drone shows during the game. Of course, the South End Zone project as well that expanded DKR Texas Memorial Stadium. And you've got the new scoreboard and the new everything going on in that place. The game day experience. I was a student from 2012 to 2016. It was nothing close to what we've got right now. And the tailgating experience is nothing close to what it was a decade ago in a good way, right? It's much better now than what it was when I was a student in the last decade. God, I'm getting old. It's been a long time since I've graduated. But the overall game day experience, not just with Texas football, with every sport, but especially with Longhorn football, has been impressive to see. And that's due to the work that Chris Del Conte and Drew Martin and the entire staff have done down on campus. We talked about the Directors Cup, right? I mean, it took CDC a while to get Texas athletics to the point where it could be competing amongst the very best in all of college sports. Felt like Stanford won that award every single year. Texas has won it 3 times in the last 4 seasons. And you look at some of the hires that CDC has made. Like Steve Sarkisian has obviously worked. Vic Schaefer with women's basketball. Texas just beat South Carolina over the weekend, and the Longhorns are number 3 in the country. Jim Schlossnagle, like CDC just made that hire. You think he wants to leave before Schloss finishes his first season in Austin? No, that was a great hire for Texas, by the way. Excited for baseball coming up at the end of this week. Bob Bowman in swimming and diving. That guy won the national championship last season at Arizona State. The legendary Eddie Reese announced that he's retiring. So who does Texas go out and get? The coach that literally won the national championship last year. And oh, by the way, the coach who coached Michael Phelps back during his Olympic heyday. I think y'all have heard of that guy. The Chris Beard hire. I don't know if I should bring up Chris Beard, but at the time we thought that was a really big deal. So CDC has made some tremendous, tremendous hires. He's put some great people in place. Some of those hires are new. I think he wants to see how those hires end up working out. So he's done so much work to turn this thing around and build it up to arguably the top athletic department in the country. I have a hard time believing that CDC has any interest in leaving that right now. Honestly, I don't think he's going to leave for any other AD job in America. I think he's going to stay here until he retires. Maybe there's some other industry or some other completely different job in the sports field that can lure him away from Texas, but he's not leaving for another AD job. I feel very confident in saying that. And oh, by the way, sort of a 2A, kind of a bonus one here. CDC has already been the athletic director at a private institution in the DFW Metroplex. He was at TCU, the other half of the Metroplex, the other half of the battle for the Iron Skillet. But he was at TCU in Fort Worth for a number of years, left that job to take the gig here in Austin. So he's done that. He knows what it takes to do that kind of gig. And he left for a reason. I don't think he wants to go back to that kind of life. And number 3, last but not least, Texas can pay. Again, SMU's got a ton of money. They've been investing a lot into sports over the last couple of years. You've seen that with what they've done in football, and they are coming off their best football season in a long, long time. But Texas can pay too. Hell, they just gave Steve Sarkisian his second contract extension and raise in as many years. We talked about the value of the athletic department. We talked about all of the money coming into the university right now. CDC just signed an extension at the end of 2023. That's got him locked up through 2030. He's got a guaranteed base salary of $3 million this year. He ain't hurting for money. Oh, by the way, that number goes up every year throughout the duration of this deal. He's got some performance based incentives in there, so he can make more money than the 3+ million in base that he already has right now. He's the highest paid AD in the country, at least as of the last time I checked. He's earned it as well, but he is literally making more money than any AD in college sports. Texas would be willing to pay a little bit more if they needed to keep him around. If CDC wants to make more money, maybe he would leverage the SMU opportunity to try to get a little bit more cash. Tashard Choice just did that with the job in Dallas with the Cowboys. Worked out for him. Got a nice little pay bump to stick around Austin. So maybe CDC could do that because it always pays to have somebody interested in you. But I don't think CDC is going to do that. I think the tweet he sent out a couple of days ago kind of leads me to believe that, and probably should lead you to believe that as well. So there you go, guys and gals. CDC, there are so many reasons for him to stick around Austin. He'd be taking a worse job if he went to Dallas. I don't know if he'd be making more money if he went to Dallas. And he's done so much to build things here in Austin that it just wouldn't make sense for him to leave for SMU. I know Jay Hartzell and him are close, and I wouldn't be surprised if Jay Hartzell tried to sway CDC to Dallas, but it's just not happening. Texas fans, rest assured that your athletics director, who has been the best in college sports since taking over in 2017, is going to stick around Austin for at least a little while longer. Good news. All right. We'll take your thoughts. Comment below. Any fear that I'm wrong? Any fear that CDC is headed to Dallas? And I would love to hear from y'all your favorite CDC moments during his tenure so far at the University of Texas. And feel free to comment below with any feedback on the channel and ideas for future videos. If you made it this far, thank you. Please give this a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel as well. Can't thank y'all enough for the continued love and support on the BK Show. Remember, when you watch the BK Show, you rule. See y'all tomorrow. Hook 'em.